Good morning, everyone. We are in week 4 of our field camp, and this is Tuesday. Yesterday we had a one-day project and I did not take my camera. But this project we're on right now is a 2-day mapping project and a design of a dam in a valley that is kind of southeast of Deadwood called Lost Gulch. And this is an actual site of the old Gilt Edge mine that operated up until, when was it, the late 1990s, and then they were shut down because of acid mine drainage. But this valley in here was where they had proposed to build an impoundment dam for waste rock. And so I have the reports of those studies and what they had designed and that type of thing, and that's kind of what we're mimicking in here. So the students come in, they map the bedrock geology of this valley, determine where structure exists, determine where a site for a dam, an impoundment structure could be placed, and then they design it. And so it's going to have a width and a height, and it's going to have a certain impoundment volume for waste rock, which we give them those values and statistics, and they fit their reservoir or their dam, see how much waste they can fit behind it. And then they also do a spillway, and a spillway design because the area is subjected to flood, and even though the back of the dam is filled with waste rock, or will be filled with waste rock, the reservoir is going to have to pass certain flow volumes, and so they're going to have to calculate what those potential maximum flow volumes are and make sure that they have a spillway either as part of their dam or off the side of the dam that would be able to bypass that water from the impoundment reservoir. So we just started this morning. It's supposed to rain again this afternoon. It's really wet out here because it rained pretty good yesterday and through the night, and then it's supposed to rain again, 80% chance this afternoon. So we're just keeping an eye out, and if it rains, then we're probably going to have to leave early. So we're just going to be playing it by ear. Okay, so I'm coming up on an access road out of the main canyon, and here's the topography of what we're looking at. Let me see if I can get back on this road a little bit so we can see across the canyon. So across the canyon, we've got one peak there, and we got a third peak right over here, and there's a valley in between and a valley in between. And if they are able to get over there, you can see it's quite thick country, but if they get over there, all of those valleys between those peaks, those are faults, and there's a geologic fault going between there. There's shear zones, the rock is all chewed up, and some of those extend over to this side of the valley. So this is looking up the slope. It's very, very steep in here, and the first outcrop that they saw coming up this road is right, you can see some students down there. They're working on that outcrop, and that is Madison limestone. So obviously we're not going to put a dam on top of the limestone, and so they have to determine where those contacts are and find rock favorable to be able to host their dam. So they're going to be collecting lithology and then engineering properties in terms of fracturing, orientations of fractures, the number of fractures per foot kind of measurement, and making determinations on where suitable rock is for the dam. So just sit back, relax. There's rock in here they haven't seen yet. In fact, I'm passing some pieces of it here. There's an outcrop of it up here, I know, and I'll come back on and show you that when we get there. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. See you in a bit. All right, I'm getting toward the top of this first ridge, and we've been seeing different lithologies in the road, and lo and behold, here's the first outcrop of this other lithology we've been walking in. You can see it's pretty weathered. It's broken up and fractured. It's probably, that outcrop right there is probably pretty soft. Let's try to, yeah, look at that. It just crumbles really easily. So this is a weathering texture called saprolite, and saprolite literally means rotten rock, and it is where the mineralogy in the rock reacts to water and atmosphere, and the mineralogy, the crystals in there, start to change, and they change into other things, and that change then weakens the rock, and you get this saprolite. So you can see this is a large crystal in it. There's all kinds of crystals in here. This is a variety that we call a porphyry, and so a porphyry is a rock that has large crystals and a finer crystalline ground mass. So you can see that's even got terminations on it. And these are a species of feldspar that's called sanidine, and the rock type is trachyte. This is a trachyte porphyry, and it's weathering. Again, no hard ring to it, just light hammer blows breaks it up, which is, you know, a saprolite. So very, very, very weathered. These grains are altering into other things. The feldspar crystals weather into clays, and a lot of the little white grains in here, the small ones, are also feldspar. So this is a feldspar rich, not that much quartz in it, but you can see it kind of just peeling off in almost like a rind, you know. So it's highly weathered. So rapid weathering in this. So this is some of the stuff they're going to be teasing out is you know, where these igneous rocks exist. So these are intrusive rocks, and they came in with the laramide, the uplift event of the Black Hills, and they penetrated up into the northern hills. And this outcrop that you see over here is the same stuff, and it was a lava, well, it was a magma below the surface, and it was moving up, and it picked this stuff up and just bulged it up and picked it up and domed it up. In fact, this mountain right here is called Dome Mountain, and it domed up the overlying rock. So there is some bedrock down in the valley down here that it's in place, and then the intrusive came in on this side and popped it up, and that same formation is present back up here. So like 400 feet difference in elevation on that uplift. So the trick is then to find where you can put a dam in here. You know, we got a nice valley right here. It depends on what the lithology is and what the elevation of that ridge is that connects it with this ridge right in front of us. And in fact, most of the time the dam is sited somewhere from, you know, right over there to right up around the corner up here is pretty favorable. But this is a great valley. It's getting more overgrown year by year, just you know, because there's no more activity in here in terms of building a tailings dam. I don't know if you can see on the ridge up there, though, there's some roads cutting across that ridge. Those are some of the old access roads that they used for the drilling program when they were evaluating this area as an actual waste repository. Okay, let's continue on up and see what we find. Here in a little excavation pit, top of that ridge, are about 5,200 feet right here, and this is the igneous rock right here, and you can see the sanidine crystals in here. Yeah, really saprolitic, rotten rock. And then right across the other side of the pit wall is Madison limestone, and you can see it's kind of mottled, dark colors in here. So this is probably getting baked by being in proximity to that liquid magma that was intruded in. So there's a geologic contact right in here at this location, probably going right up that cut right there. So this is tough, where that stuff is very, very weak. So this in front of us has been probably been lifted up somewhat, been displaced by this igneous. So that whole mountainside over there is all igneous. So everything from where I'm basically standing that way is igneous. Okay, and we're going to head up over there here in just a minute. Alright, so we're up at the top of this little cut, and on this side right over here, this is the limestone, and then over here is the igneous rock, and you can see this really flat surface right here. That's probably the actual contact surface where the melt pushed up against the overlying rock, and then it's got this really weathered gouge zone. This is like sand in here, but this is probably the actual contact surface right there. So one could measure, and they better, if they get up here, they'll measure this orientation of this contact. So pretty cool. This is almost slightly marbleized. This limestone's really coarse crystalline, and so again we see that with that dark. It's been baked. Madison's usually kind of really light gray, and then that darker color indicates that it's been under heat. Little stream, so moss everywhere. This is usually really wet in here. I've never seen flowing water though. There's always signs of water, moss on the rocks. So this has got to be more than just the rain yesterday. This is from snow melt and whatever rain they've had this spring so far. Nice trachyte porphyry. Yeah, here we are up on the ridge. You know, it continues up to higher elevations, but this is looking out over the valley. A big knob right there, that's igneous, intrusive as well. I think that's where we're headed. Now you can see the roads cutting across the mountain over there. Those are all roads for drill holes that they drilled in here as they were siting the dam. So a dam to some critical height back there will impound everything along, you know, whatever the elevation is in here, all the way across the other side. So there's quite a large volume of containment in here possible.
dissertation. This is his biggest contribution to the Black Hills. Sorry, you recording?
He's sitting down on the job. There's two. Yeah, there's the other one.
Want to get a picture of it?
So there's a chair. Here's another chair. Throne. Built by one of our grad students about 5 or 6 years ago. And they're still sitting here. This one sits back way further. It's like a lounger. And there we are. This one's laying back quite a ways, but it works.